Plot twist. Thank you for $10, Joseph Dahari. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who's winning? No weapons allowed. I think the gorilla wins. This is the question that is intriguing the internet right now. I think the gorilla wins. Here's the thing. If you were to take 100, what's the word I'm going to use? Carcasses. Okay, let's not get community guidelines strike. If you were to take the carcass of 100 humans and drop them on the gorilla in a giant pile, like what would that weigh? 100? Wait, 20,000 pounds? I think it would crush the gorilla, is my point. But if you have 100 living sentient men, I don't see any way that they are going to beat the gorilla. Don't see it. Don't see it. They will not overwhelm the gorilla. I don't think they're going to do it. If they were trained in like medieval infantry tactics where they like link arms and form a line and then they surround the gorilla or something, like maybe if they were specifically trained for the purpose of overwhelming the gorilla at the expense of their own lives, potentially. You know, like bees surround a wasp and they vibrate and they overheat the wasp and maybe some of the bees die, but they kill the wasp. Like if they were specifically trained to do that, maybe they have a chance. There is a tactic that lets the 100 men beat the gorilla through sheer mass, if nothing else. But like how is a human with no weapons going to inflict any injury on a gorilla? I don't see it.
Okay, so the problem with this question, as all questions like this, is the premise is not completely fleshed out, right?
No,
when you
of course.
Ask the question.
Of course.
So, is this a case where they have to fight? Because if it's not a case where they have to fight, then a gorilla chasing 100 men individually, each man, is
like
eventually
hunting
going
them
to wear
down?
the gorilla out. Yeah, it's going to wear the gorilla out. Like
Oh, now that's interesting. You're talking about like persistence hunting.
Yeah,
You're saying
we're tiring
well,
it just like humans used to hunt. Is like, yeah, you're wearing the animal down by tracking it for 10 hours, but it's the opposite where the gorilla's chasing you for an hour, and then the next guy is getting chased for an hour. He might lose 50 guys, but the gorilla's not going to be able to keep chasing everybody, right? That's the
so the scenario
is going to be far away.
The scenario I think most people, that I imagine, I don't know, I should say most people, I shouldn't assume, is that you've like got an arena and there's 100 men and a gorilla in the arena, and the gorilla is going to attack the men. Like the gorilla is angry and is going to attack the men and vice versa. That's the scenario I imagine. I think the men lose every time there. Unless someone has developed gorilla fighting tactics and the men are specifically trained in gorilla fighting tactics. But like the idea that we're going to just dogpile the gorilla, I don't see it. Like even if you like jump on the gorilla's back, what are you going to do? You going to like gouge his eyes? The first time you poke him in the eye, he's going to reach over, he's going to rip your arm off. Like I feel like that's like not going to work well for you. If you're like the gorilla is in a field or in the jungle somewhere and there's 100 men and their goal is to take the gorilla down, the men win because they have like they're going to figure out ways, even if they're not allowed weapons, as you said, Blunty. They're going to do like persistence hunting. They're going to chase it. They're going to maneuver, you know, and some of them will get their arms ripped off, but eventually the gorilla will be worn down and will lose. No, I agree with you there. How strong is a... I looked this up recently because I talked about it with some friends. Newsweek says that a gorilla is 4 to 9 times stronger than a human. Bite force of 1,300 psi, can sprint 20 to 25 miles an hour over short distances. And how strong is a gorilla? You know, something like can lift 1,800 pounds. Gorilla are much stronger than humans. A gorilla can lift a huge amount of weight. Like they are only 300 to 500 pounds. They are only 300 to 500 pounds. They are way stronger than humans for their weight. So, anyway.